adding value. If you can add value to something, it should always sell faster and easier, okay? Because let's say your property's worth $10,000 without power. If you had power on that, you could probably sell it for $25,000. Maybe it only cost you $2,000 to get power on it, okay? But now you can sell it for 25, okay? Or let's say, this happened to me a few times. I was surprised to see how many trees were on my property. Consider cutting the grass, okay? Cutting the grass adds a lot of value. If somebody goes to your property and they just see that it's just overwhelmed with trees and bushes and stuff like that, maybe just cutting the grass is all they need. Especially women, I've found out. Guys so much don't really care. They're like, I'll take care of it. But if a woman really wants it to be like a package deal already, it's done, okay? So if you can add value to your property by something as simple as just clearing it, it changes the whole game for your sales process. Because now when they go there, they can visualize a house on it, okay? They can visualize an RV. They can visualize a mobile home on it. Okay, super huge. And when I say adding value, that can go in 1,000 different directions. I'll leave that up to you, but it's really important. And because experienced investors have a little bit more capital, they can do stuff like that. Okay, obviously all remotely. All right. Okay, this is my favorite one. I know that I was saying a couple of them were my favorite ones, but I really feel like this is my favorite one. And I'm going to tell you a story. So one time I had a salesman working for me. And she had 492 leads, I think, came in like a month, I think it was. Something like that. Maybe it was 2 weeks. I don't know. 492 leads. And she didn't make any sales. So she made 0 sales. And this really scared me. And I was like, is there something wrong with my properties or what's going on? And then I talked to my mentor and he was like, well, there's probably something wrong with your training. You know, for you to have 0 sales and 492 leads, that's a problem. Okay. You know, if her voice is clear and everything like this, like what is the problem? Because they're already qualified. Remember, in land flipping, they're already qualified on price. Anybody that opts in, they're already qualified on price because they already see our pricing on Zillow or Craigslist or Facebook or a website or a Facebook page, right? So what is it? Why didn't these 492 people buy? So I was trying to figure it out myself. So I said, you know what? I'm going to take control. Okay, I took 10 phone calls and I closed all 10. All 10. I was 10 for 10 on sales of my land flipping business simply because I was the one taking the call. Now, yes, I think I'm the best in the world, but maybe you don't, right? I don't think that's quite what it was. What I think of what it was I negotiated with the buyers, okay? And a lot of times, newer students don't negotiate with the buyers. You can negotiate, just like you negotiate with the seller, you can negotiate with the buyer. A lot of people forget this. This is probably one of the top million secrets in the world is how to negotiate with a buyer and how important it is to negotiate with a buyer, okay? So when I was talking to these people, I was trying to figure out, why do they want the property? Why do they need the property? Is this a good time for them to buy the property? Okay, those 3 things. Why do they want the property? Why do they need the property? And is this a good time for them to have the property? And if it wasn't, I was trying to build value on all of these 3 things. So I wanted a 10 for 10 on these. And if it was an 8 or a 7 or a 6 or whatever, I was going to build value on all that so that all 10, I got a 30 for 30. That's what I was looking for. Okay. And so then I was negotiating and then I was like, okay. And I was feeling them out on price. If price was the issue, could I give you a discount? If timing was an issue, could you make a deposit now and start your payments 2 months from now? Like what was it going to take for them to buy the property? that person on the phone. And you got to fight. And if you're not a good fighter, you're not going to be a good negotiator. Okay? So it's super critical that you really genuinely fight on these conversations for the close. Okay? You got to try your hardest. Okay? You're on the phone with another person, not a client, a person. And you have to find out, man to man, woman to woman, what do they need to buy that property? And you have to find a way to give it to them on the phone or one call close. So if my salesman took 492 calls and sold 0 sales, and I took 10 for 10 and I sold 10 land deals, I just made a conscious decision. I'm not going to get off this phone until they buy this property. Okay, so that really taught me a hard lesson that you have to be able to negotiate with the buyers. Okay, you have to be able to give them a reason. You got to build on their scarcity, their urgency, and their timing, and their price qualification. Okay, now, obviously, for the people that are in the coaching program, you need to be asking these questions on how do you do this? Okay, how do I negotiate with a buyer and a seller? If you're not asking these questions, you're not getting these answers. Okay, so one of the beautiful things that I absolutely loved about our in-person event was I was networking and I was talking to the other advanced coaches, okay, in the group, and I was just diagnosing their business too. Okay, if a lady is every single one of her deals, she's selling properties for $40,000 to $100,000 net profit. She is obviously going after a certain kind of buyer type and a certain kind of property type. Okay, the buying avatar and the property type. Okay, so do you think that you would negotiate with them a little bit differently than somebody that's buying a $10,000 property for $200 a month? Okay, yeah. Okay, but unless you get on the phone with them and you really fight for the close, you're not going to know what they want. You're not going to know what they need. Okay, so negotiating with buyers is by far my favorite thing to do, because I really feel like if they're going to give me something, I'm going to take it. Right? And if there's something I can give to them that they will take, I'm going to give it to them. Okay, I'm going to find a way. All right.
If you like this video, please make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. And also for additional training, just go over to the website listed in the description below.